that you realize that just the magnitude of it really hits you, and just the
all the time. It kept doing that, you know, sort of just the amount of attention it got. When it was announced that you were doing it, just your life sort of just changes a bit. Everything's just you become. People are just interested in sort of everything about you from that moment on, which just takes a bit of adjusting, you know. You just have to get used to the idea that going to the supermarket will never quite be the same again.
12 people have already purchased your sweater online.
Wow. Isn't that nice?
We have plenty of fan questions, but before we get to that, I have loved you and I've hated you because of your role as Kilgrave.
Yeah.
Absolutely, by far, the best Marvel villain that we've seen.
I bet you see that to all the psychopaths.
What attracted you to that role, and wow, tell us about that experience.
Well, that was just, I got a phone call I actually did get a phone call from Jeff Loeb, who's the head of Marvel Television, who I used to read comic books that he'd written. So he sort of called you up and goes, so we're making the show, and I didn't know the comic book. I thought I was quite good on my Marvel comics. I'd never heard of the Jessica Jones comic book. But I read it and thought, oh, this is juicy. Not one for the kids, I have to say. It's a slightly more grown-up version of the Marvel Universe. PG-13 at least, I would say. But it was a great story, it was a great character. I got to be a character from a comic book. My 8-year-old self was quite pleased with that as well. Although I haven't shown him Jessica Jones yet, because that would be weird on so many levels. It was too exciting to turn down.
With the fans that love your role as the 10th Doctor, were any of them in some way mad that you played such a villainous role?
Well, only if they were stupid. In my experience, Doctor Who fans are not stupid by definition. I think people understand that, actors play different roles, and that's part of what you do, and just because you played a good guy doesn't necessarily mean you're a good guy. Just as playing a bad guy doesn't necessarily mean you're a psychopathic murderer. So I got the idea about actors and stories when I was very small, so I just assume everyone else does. I'm sorry if you don't.
Do you find that one was easier to play than the other, playing a good guy versus playing...
They're just different. They're different sort of roles, different sort of challenges, I guess. But actually, what you have to do is approach each character for who they are, rather than going, oh, this is a baddie, how do I chew the scenery in this bit, or this is a goodie, therefore I can't do X, Y, and Z. Each character just has to be, well, it's neither good nor bad. It's the middle ground that's what makes characters interesting. I think it's the bits of Kilgrave that make him where you see his vulnerability, or it's the bits of the Doctor where you see his darkness and his vengefulness. And when you get, that's what we all are. That's what human beings are, and probably Time Lords. So I think that's part of what you're trying to do as an actress is find the bits that surprise an audience, and the contradictions within a character, because that's what makes a character hopefully come alive, I think.
Well, you certainly